r/AskReddit. Ladies. What is the most obvious hint you've dropped that went unnoticed by a guy? As a guy, I once had a girl climb in my bed and cuddle. With me just thinking she must be cold. Now she's putting her hand in my pants to keep it warm. Now she's putting my hand in her pants to keep it warm. She's such a considerate friend. Okay, I get it, lady. I'll turn up the heat. Stop with this passive aggressive crap already. I literally whispered "duck me" in a seductive manner. And he responded with "what's wrong?" He thought I was saying "duck me" in a negative way. Duck me? That's one oblivious man. You alright? You can always talk to me. I sent a tit pic once, and the guy just lolled. Kinda makes a girl not wanna do that anymore. Did you put some thought into it, or was it just a close up of a boob? Face was in the pic. He asked to see my bad tattoos, and I thought it was the perfect excuse to send a full-on tit pic to win his attention. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say most guys aren't missing the signals, just they don't want to take it the wrong way. They don't want to be the guy who jumped to conclusions and is labeled a creep, or charged with XL harassment, or mess with a good friendship. Another underrated point. After weeks of him staying over late, he was friends with my roommate, so we could hang just the two of us. I gathered up my liquid courage and sat in his lap and kissed him. We did that for a while. But when I was like, "Let's go to my room," he asked me, "Why?" And with complete poker face. So I panicked and was like, "To finish the movie." The movie had ended. We both stared at the credits, and then he was like, "Well, it's late. Can I kiss you one more time before I go?" Jesus Christ, he was thick. TBH, back before I ever got laid, I was not used to girls liking me, so when one day this girl came over and was kissing me, I legit didn't know if I should make a move because I thought she'll get scared. It can happen. My usual inner monologue. Maybe she's just being nice. Maybe this is how she treats everyone. On the first date I went on with my husband, we were sitting next to each other really close, and I looked up at him and moved closer to his face, and he said, "Can I help you?" I do this to my wife all the time just to annoy her. She pays me back by having perpetual cold feet and hands, and uses me as a way to warm them up. Reading this thread makes me feel so much better about my obliviousness. Nice thing about me is that I'm so ugly that no one flirts with me. Ever. Or are you just oblivious to it? If I have learned anything in my 30-something years alive, it's that if you want to sleep with a man, you basically have to come out and tell him, because they do not take hints well. Lots of guys have been burned. I've misread signals and been too forward, leading to awkward. Whoa. What the duck? Lol. I was just making conversation. I've been flirted with by women who just wanted to flirt/get attention. Not have sex with me, or even date me. Last and most important, most men are terrified of misreading something and actually assaulting a woman. If you say, "Why don't you come over and we'll watch a movie together?" lots of guys will think, now, she could mean X. But the risks to ego/reputation/violating her rights are too great. Let's assume it's just a movie. Nothing can go wrong with that assumption. During the movie she says, "Ugh, I just haven't been ducked in so long." So a guy might think, okay, that sounds like she wants to duck me. However, if we are just friends, this could just be something she wants to get off her chest. I don't want to be a creep. Also, this is a pretty compromising situation and things could look bad if I step over a line. Better not act. Let's see if this goes any further. I'm not oblivious to what you're saying/doing. I'm just not willing to put my foot on the gas until I see nothing but green lights. I told my now boyfriend that I was attracted to him. He assumed that I meant I thought he was aesthetically attractive, but not into him myself. Same boy also missed me watching an entire football game with him in a pub, leaning on him the entire time. Despite me saying I had never watched football before and thought it was boring, and then walking home holding his hand. As an indication of how much I liked him. The team he's supporting probably just lost the match. Not much can cheer up a man from watching his team lose. I mean, if I was a Liverpool fan last week, I'd be out for a while. Had this ridiculously attractive girl sit 2 seats down from me in a college writing class. Some kid sat between us. Girl proceeds to mean girl the hit out of this kid. Next class he sits somewhere else. She slides her books over to his seat. Sits down next to me and says hi. I'm your new partner, we didn't have partners in this class. After class she asks if she can email me a paper to critique. I give her my email address. She sends me her number. I text her, saying here's my number too. But I think you forgot to attach the paper. Never received the paper. Following the next class she asks me to walk her to her car. It's 11 AM. She claims to need to get something out of the back seat and then just sorta rummages around a very clean back seat. Bent at the waist. Calls back that she hopes I'm enjoying the view. I sorta chuckled. Oblivious. She gets out. Looks at me and says I'm a little surprised you didn't grab my ass. Maybe next time. Following class she literally takes my hand and places it on her ass. Looking me dead in the eye and says give it a squeeze. I've met predator drones less tenacious than her. What? Are you supposed to sexually assault her on the chance she likes it? Duck no. Dude. Missed signal or not, you did the right thing at her car. I'm absolutely well aware of that. This was a few months ago, and I just got out of the military after a long enough time that XL harassment and assault are 2 things very much on my mind when interacting with women. Edit. At 769 upvotes I realize I probably don't need to clarify at this point. But avoiding XL harassment and assault are what's on my mind. Not just being appy killy over here. Non-ladies who suddenly remembered all the hints they lost and now are smacking their peen foreheads in shame and disbelief at being so dumb. Avoid this problem with one simple trick. Be so unappealing no woman would ever want you. But what if you only think you're unappealing? But in reality girls fawn over you, but you're too thick to take the hint? How about we get some girls to answer guys? Girls? This is Reddit. Boys? This is Reddit. I met a guy in New Orleans, and after a lot of texting and talking, we wound up having a second date in California. I live in Colorado. He's in Florida. He had to run out to doing a few things, and when he came back, I was rolling a doobie in some lingerie out on the deck of our hotel room. He legit just said, hey, you ready for dinner? Get dressed so we can go. Guy was hungry, not thirsty. He could have ate. Back in HS I sent a guy pictures of Myers wearing underwear. He sent pictures back of his ass in his boxers. Totally clueless until we met up again in college and hooked up. Now we've been together for almost 4 years. I love my boyfriend, even though he missed my obvious advances 6-7 years ago. Edit. I did not expect this to blow up so much. This is hilarious. He sent pictures back of his ass in his boxers. That is so ducking hilarious. Oh man. Hit. I've done this. When the guy I have now been married to for 15 years and I first started hanging out, we spent a lot of time at a friend's house with the whole group. I finally got him out to front porch alone one night, hanging out on the couch there, and I kept finding reasons to touch him and flirt with him. I stole his watch and made him try to get it back from me. We tickled each other and other flirty goofing around. He told me after we started dating that he called a female friend later that night to ask her what she thought it meant if I was flirting with him. One night, we were at his house watching TV late, and I kept throwing hints at him. No dice. We were literally spooning on the floor by the TV. And I finally just said, would you like to kiss me? He's such a sweet, wonderful man. Glad I finally got through his obliviousness. AWW. This one made me really happy. I was at a girl's house that asked for help with homework. When I walked into her dorm room she was in her underwear in bed and said climb in. Let's do homework here. And I literally said I think I'll do it at the desk. That way we can write easier. What? Edit. For any curious, yes. She decided to get out of bed and we ended up doing homework at the desk while she was still nearly nude. If pain could be translated into words, you have found a way. I'm now squirming in agony. Thank you. To continue the trend. Guy here. To offer a disclaimer here. I'm your textbook ugly duckling in terms of self-esteem vs actual attractiveness. Apparently. My first year in college. I met a girl who was a friend of a friend of a friend, like 2 circles removed. She evidently had a fascination with me, and I got word back that she was joking about wanting to marry me after we hung out twice in a group. We ended up spending more and more time together. And at one point I offered to show her this cool little decorative Aztec calendar I got that was in my room. Not thinking that, hey, come check out this thing in my dorm that I have to myself had some connotations to it. We went and I showed it to her, and she was just staring at me, if memory serves. She was actually biting her lip. I then asked if there was anything else she wanted to do, like grab coffee. To my credit, I dodged a huge bullet there, but that's a very long story. I also got along great with a friend of mine, and I offered to let her stay with me during a rough patch in her living situation. She was super cute, and I thought she was way out of my league. So I really did take it as a joke when she told me she would suck my peen for a Dr. Pepper when we went out to lunch on that first day. She had a very offbeat sense of humor. So I don't feel like it was that much of a stretch to think she was joking. As I found out later that night, she was not kidding about that, and she kept her promise. Best dollar I ever spent. Fast forward 6 months and we're exchanging wedding vows. That Dr. Pepper landed me a wife. So thanks. Dr. PEPPER TM. Ads are getting smarter. Edit. Spelling. I'm not a bot. Friend. That's absurd. This isn't a clever ruse, that's actually an advertising campaign. Nope. Not at all. Are you stressed out because of a modern world where you have to constantly analyze whether or not things are a targeted ad? Ask your doctor if Xanax is right for you. If you get a prescription, consider the cheap copays at Walgreens, the corner of happy and healthy. On the way home, you should think about some spicy chicken nuggets from Wendy's. A girl once sucked on my middle finger in a bar, and I thought she was just kidding around. In my defense, it was because we were talking about the grossest things we ever did. Edit. Based on the comments, I just want to say I would like my body to be cremated. That is all. Maybe she wanted you on that list. This is the most savage thing I've seen all week. I honestly don't know. Because I assume that if I'm being obvious and it floats on by, that means he's noticing it alright. But ignoring it because he's not interested. So being even more obvious is just going to be uncomfortable and embarrassing. I know Reddit likes the narrative of women can always have what they want from guys, but that's really bullshit. Some of us, like me, just really don't want to get the wrong idea. If I consider the person a good friend, I tend to brush hints off as a joke, even if I have feelings for her. Best thing to do for some guys is to just go for it. Unless it's obvious that they aren't into you. Those are just my 2 cents. But I'm sure many can relate. Like the phone and the bra one. It's obvious reading it on the internet, but if that happened to me with one of my close friends, I'd probably be like, can I please get my phone back? Out of fear of what would happen if I did make a move. Well, I'm a lesbian. But ladies don't always pick up on hints either. On our 3rd date, I told my girlfriend I wasn't wearing any underwear, and she just said, I guess it's laundry day. Huh. Bless her heart. That's pure. Me at 10:30 PM after a date, hey, do you want to come in? Him, no. Him getting a cold sore. Me, well, okay then. How about drinks later this week? Him, if the cold sore is gone. Welp, it went away, and we are still dating 6 years later. Dude refused your offer of X to prevent you getting the herp. He wasn't oblivious. He was being a GGG. Good guy, Gary. Anyone else notice that most top commenters have usernames that are average girl names? With a between first and surname. Or law 9 months on Reddit. With very little post history. WTF is going on? Some sort of bot. Edit. They all seem to have disappeared now. Goodbye, dear bots. Yeah. It's bots. What would be the purpose of having a bot generate karma on a thread like this? Is it so later comments in the account's life are taken more seriously? Not a lady, but hints that I didn't pick up at the time, but later realized it was a hint. 1. Me and this girl watching a movie, moves closer to me. Puts head on shoulder. About 5 minutes tries to hold my hand, I jumped. Watching a scary movie. which I can't handle, causing our heads to hit. She moves back to the other side. 2. Went on this date. Afterwards I offered to walk her back to her house. It was a college town, so she only lived like 2 miles away. Get to her house, offers me to come inside for a couple of drinks. Declined due to having plans with friends. Proceeds to wait at the door for something. I don't know what she's waiting for, so I wave, tell her to have a good night, and go on my jolly way back to my place. Got thinking about I have so many stories which just makes me sad. One thing I've learned is if she's lingering, she wants something. Us awkward guys linger all the time for no reason, but we shouldn't assume others do. Bot accounts. What are the most obvious answers you jacked from past AskReddit threads that went unnoticed? Ducking like and subscribe.